All right. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We're back again for session 3. My name is Aaron Wanjala. I am still the Java developer advocate here at Google Cloud. And I'm here with my buddy Mark.
Hello again. My name is Mark Mandel. I still tech lead developer relations for gaming on Google Cloud, although this time I'm joining you from Australia. Hence the weird background that is a little different than usual.
Yeah. And today I'm going to be leading this session again.
Sweet.
And we're going to be, let me share my screen actually.
That's a good idea.
We are going to be, I've written out a little bit of an agenda for this stream. We're going to go a little bit ambitious today. We're going to pick up from the sample that we had in session 1.
Yep.
We're going to build on that image bucket service that we had. If my Markdown wants to cooperate, maybe it doesn't.
No preview for you.
Yeah, well, that's a good sign. That's an auspicious sign.
I've seen that happen before in IntelliJ. That's not your fault.
Yeah. Anyways, there it is. We're going to be building on our image bucket service from session 1. The idea is we're going to add a service, a Java service to that web service that we built.
Okay.
That is going to facilitate AI image generation with ImageN. Mark, how familiar are you with ImageN? Well, same here. Yeah. And it's also quite new, which is, I think, going to be an interesting use case for Duet, where we're having it drive on something that is pretty new, not that heavily documented or searched, and we're going to see how it does. I'm expecting this to be decently hard, be decently time-consuming.
Okay.
And if I've sized this correctly, maybe we won't finish. Maybe we'll just finish it by the end. But I'm hoping to give us something, interesting to try out here together.
Okay, and something neither of us know anything about either, so this should be entertaining.
Exactly. And ideally something useful to you is in the audience. And then once we get that working, we'll upload the resulting image from the text prompt. If you're not familiar with ImageN, it's a image generation service powered by Vertex AI. So you supply it with things like a text prompt, and you can say, like, just describe an image, have it give you the result. It can do multiple predictions at the same time. Or you can do things like upscaling an image, where you just supply an image and say, upscale mode, and it'll give that a try.
Okay.
So it's a pretty powerful service. Not much experience with it, but let's see how far Duet takes us. Once we have that image, we'll be uploading the results to the same gcloud bucket, the storage bucket. And then just add a little bit more complexity. We've also got an item here to build a front end for our image bucket service that will allow you to both do the uploads that we did through Postman in the first session and supply prompts to the new image generation service with ImageN. And
which is going to be hilarious because I'm terrible at CSS. Although you're apparently a lot better than I am.
I do enjoy CSS, so that should be fun too. That'll be our relaxing.
Who hurt you, and why do you enjoy CSS?
it's like painting. That'll be our relaxing reward for finishing the hard work.
Sure.
And then, ideally we'll be able to pull images from that bucket to the front end. And as a stretch goal here, we'll get Duet to help us to style the resulting page nicely. So yeah, there's a little agenda.
There we go.
Of course, I figured out how to get the Markdown to display at the end, but I think that's
how live demos go. That's how they go. That's exactly how it goes. Exactly.
But yeah, we're going to jump right into it. Let's just get into a bit of a recap with the service. If you weren't here for our first session or you don't remember, all of our sessions are posted, so you can feel free to go back and watch the recording on YouTube. But the idea of the first session was just to get set up and get a simple task finished, which was creating a Java web service with Spring Boot that allowed you to upload an image in a multi-part file request to Google Cloud Storage. And we had Duet do all the driving.
Okay.
And that was, fun experience, kicking the tires, seeing where it excelled and where it was like, not the first tool you'd pick out as far as versus like, searching yourself, things like that. And it did a great job. We got, I think this entire, like the meat of this whole function was written by Duet. We had most of the image upload service written by Duet. And I believe at the time my Maven was not cooperating, and so
that's right. Yeah,
it even supplied all the imports for me and the package names, and did a pretty good job of reading that from context, as well as pulling samples that were pretty much what I would recommend in the docs without me having to leave the IDE. So yeah, other than that, it's a pretty straightforward Spring Boot service, and we're going to, per the agenda, add another service here. We're going to add an image generation service.
Now,
yeah.
just so I remember correctly as well, this was all Spring Boot, if I'm saying that right.
Sure is.
Got
Spring
it.
Boot.
And if I remember correctly, the app was it the application that specifies the URLs, and then the service is the one that does the actual work.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, the controller is where we define the
controller does the routes. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's where we do all the API design and the routing, and then in the service is where we've put all the work. So you just go ahead and call the one line, upload, or do this in the service.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I remember correctly. All right. Fantastic.
And for those in the audience who are familiar with Spring, we're using version 3.2.1 on Java 21. Why not use the latest and greatest? So
is that I assume that is the latest. I'm going to believe you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I believe.
Or
I will also say, if people have questions or like prompts they want to try as we're working, please drop those in chat. We'll try our best to answer them or see what happens when we try certain prompts.
Yeah. And I like this task because I think we're going to be pretty much collaborating on how to use this new kind of development workflow, how to structure our prompts and kind of get what we want out of Duet here. So I am going to make the file manually, and then I'm going to try to have Duet create the entire contents of the file.
Ooh, let's see how we go. All right.
Yeah.
So this is the one that's going to generate this image for us.
Yes. So here's where we want to do all the work to actually get the image, get Vertex to supply us with the image. And you know what might help actually? Importing Vertex. Let's start with that. I'm assuming that Duet may be able to know from the packages that we have pulled and the dependencies that are on the class path what to suggest. I'm not sure if that's true, but to give it that chance, why don't we start with the import? So let's go to the POM instead and ask, how can I import the latest Vertex client library? Yes, so that is the right artifact ID. Com Google Cloud is the right group. I'm not so sure about the version, so we can try that. The good thing about this is that it's something that is easily verifiable. I'm going to put this in, and it'll either pull it down and add it to my class path, or it'll fail, and I'll be able to look up the right version.
Out of curiosity, because I haven't used Maven in like 10 billion years, is the usual workflow to just like edit the XML directly, or is there usually like a Maven tool that does it for you, or how does that usually work?
So most package managers that I use do have command lines like npm for that. Maven, I've always just edited the POM directly.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So it seems like it doesn't like the version that we have here. Let me just confirm. We have it reload the dependencies and see if it picks it up.
All right. Resulting dependencies of image bucket.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
It is a valid AI platform version. Is that the latest though? What if can I have it suggest? Well, let me just look it up here. Let me pull up a window here to confirm that response. And
I'm looking it up too. I'm just kind of curious. Ooh, not the latest.
Not the latest?
But not the last one. The last one I see is the latest is 3.35.0. What do you see?
Okay.
Yeah, it's looking at the same page. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's been updated pretty recently, pretty frequently in the last month. So okay, that makes
That
sense.
gets you. I mean, it gets you started. Ooh, out of curiosity too, in the IntelliJ tools, does it give you like a drop down of like more recent versions in the POM, or do you have to like go look that up yourself? I've seen
There is a
IntelliJ
way
do
to
that
do that.
for other package managers.
There is a way to do that. There we go. Yeah.
Hey, there we go. It's
How
still
up
not the
to date is
latest.
IntelliJ though? No, yeah, it's not. It's not pulling me
Should
the
be
latest
3.
version. 350, right? That was the
Yeah, that was the thing.
interesting. Well, yeah, there it is.
All right, so let's reload that.
But always good to. I still think that's like,
That's not bad.
yeah, this is where like
Yeah.
as long as I can easily verify that it was exactly what I want or not, I am up for using Duet in that use case.
There we go.
So there we go. We have the necessary client library. We could be extra clean and manage this version with the bomb, but since we only have this one, no, we have storage too. And do we already have the bomb for that?
What's a bomb for those who aren't in the know?
So a Maven bomb is a bill of materials that
Okay.
automatically manages all the version numbers for a bunch of related packages.
Oh,
And
I
it's
see.
a
I see. Okay.
big time saver. And actually, I may already have the bomb here. Yeah, I do. Spring Cloud,
Got it.
dependency management. Well, let me just try removing the version and see if that works. If I do, then it'll work.
I did note when I was asking about editing the POM, our good friend and work colleague and boss, essentially, Aaron likes to live dangerously, Mark.
I do.
I appreciate that comment.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah. Okay, so I do have the bomb, but I might have the wrong bomb version because it didn't quite put me at the latest bleeding edge AI platform version. So I'm just going to put the explicit version declaration back, making sure that I have the latest and greatest. Yeah,
I believe you know what you're doing.
Thank you.
Well, as an interesting question, can like Duet AI like explain some of this stuff for us, or like check some of this stuff for us?
Interesting. Yeah, thanks for that question. I would say that right now, like for certain areas, yes. For like very well trodden areas, it feels like I get a lot of responses that can like teach me the fundamentals or things where I have limited knowledge. Like when we were looking at Terraform last week, it's given me a lot of like useful context and background information. For the very specific use cases where you would be like security reviewing something like API design, I have felt like I'm the senior developer and Duet is supplying the first cut and I'm reviewing it.
That's fair. That makes sense.
So it's a bit of it depends on what you're asking it about, is what I'd say.
I was thinking just about you were checking that bomb thing or that thing inside your POM XML. I was wondering if it could check that for you, or is that something that it was
able absolutely
to understand?
That's a good question. Let me see that. What is a bomb in Maven? Bill of materials. Yeah, define a set of dependencies that are required. And you can set them all together in one central location. So they're always the same version, always up to date. Yes.
Okay, so this is just the stuff that's in your... okay, got it.
Very cool.
Okay.
And yeah, we have the Spring Cloud GCP bomb, but I may have just got the wrong version, and I don't want to go look that up right now, but
that's fair.
It's a great time saver for a project. Anyways, here in the service code, let's have Duet generate all because there's a lot of like decorators that I would need to set up for a Spring service. So let's just have Duet do all that for me.
Can you write it as a comment in the Java file and then do it that way, or do you think it's better to type it in the AI chat window?
I could, and I think if I did it with the comment functionality, it would be more precise for what I'm looking for. But I think like for the first cut, there's a few decorators I'm looking for all at once, and let's see if it can.
Okay, actually, go for it.
No, I think you're right. Really, all I need is like the service decorator here. So, can I say like make this Spring service? Control Enter. Magic button. What if I say decorate?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
But when I had it generate a Spring service,
maybe that's the better way.
Could be.
I take it you were playing with this before.
I wasn't, but we did do
Okay.
something similar to this last week, or no, the first week, so 2 weeks ago.
Oh, true. All right. All right, let's give it a shot.
Um, I like phrasing it a little bit more conversationally.
Okay.
And yes, so that is the import and the decorator that I'm looking for, and it's applied a reasonable starting service, and the package name is right.
And the package name is right. Okay,
Yeah,
cool, cool,
so this
cool.
is
Oh, there
really
we go.
the
Okay.
starting point that I was looking for. Great. I may, it'd be great if I could do that in one fell swoop, having it generate the file and then doing it together.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
That's
but
still decent.
yeah, no, this is a time saver. Implement the image generation logic. Let's do that. Good suggestion, Duet. So this is the
Well, with the
doozy.
generate image service,
Mhm.
what parameters is that going to take? It says
So
image URL, but like, isn't that like, do you taking a prompt at that point? Is that what you're saying?
we're going to take a prompt. We're going to have
Okay.
the user send in a string, and we're going to format that right and put it into Vertex.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
and I believe that a prompt is all we'll need for our use cases. We'll do all the configuration here in the service, so we won't
Yep.
need to send that in with each request.
So yeah, we should change that.
Yes. So let's just change this to prompt.
Beautiful. All right. Sweet.
And let's go ahead and let's see. I did put some thought into how to craft this prompt.
Okay. Ooh, now I want to see how this goes. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try it at the comment level here,
Okay.
because I've liked its responses for generating the middle of functions in the comment modality. So
It
let's
has
just see
some
how it goes.
context. So at least I think it has some context.
Yeah, I think so too.
There we go.
Let's see. Okay. Use Vertex to generate an image prediction. Let's keep it simple, and we'll step it up as we go.
Okay.
A64. Let's try.
Now, why a base 64 string out of curiosity?
That is just an easily.
Well, you can't get like an
inputted-
array or something and use it that way.
Well, no, we could do a byte array.
Okay.
But I
I don't know what's
believe
easier. You're
I
probably
believe
more
base
familiar with the.
64. Yeah, I believe base 64 is the default response.
Okay.
So we didn't get a response that time. Let's be a little bit more specific. Generate an image with the AI platform library. Not quite. Okay.
Not quite.
Let's use.
What's it actually called? Do we know? Like you said, it was called Imogen. Is that right? Should we be specific that way?
Yeah, let's try that. Well, Imogen is the name of the model. I don't know if it would have that quite in it, but we do have. Yeah. Well,
What do we call the actual product? It looks like it's Imogen on Vertex AI, AI image generator.
and the artifact is called AI platform.
All right.
Call Vertex and generate an image from a string prompt.
Nope. Should it be Vertex AI?
Possibly. Not quite.
No.
Well, I did anticipate some difficulty here. And yeah, as a fallback, we could call it with the REST API. I have a little bit more experience with that, but I do want to keep giving this a little bit of a try here.
Yeah.
So
should we be specific about maybe the package?
Yeah,
or
the package.
maybe we should ask it what package we should be using.
We could do that. I like that idea. So I know the package is called, because we just had Vertex supply it to me, Google Cloud AI Platform, and I could go and look in the dependencies and see what some of the class names are. But
we could just ask it like, how do you generate an image with cloud? Yeah.
How do we generate an image with Google Cloud AI platform? I think that's a good question.
Seems reasonable. In theory, it should know you're doing Java. So
This looks pretty good. Well, it's Python, but this
that's
looks
Python.
pretty.
All right. Maybe we need to be specific about the language.
Yeah.
Usually, it's pretty good about picking up which language. Yeah, I really want to hit an up button and be able to run it again. You want Java, don't you?
Yeah, I do want Java.
You do want Java. You like Java. Java's your favorite. Okay,
there we go. Image generation prediction result. Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, here we go.
This looks like almost exactly what I want. It is always kind of shocking when you go from, it's like you're like a miscommunication, and then suddenly you have like a nearly finished work product in front of you. It's really a different way to.
Here's an interesting question for you. Can we take that prompt or like the basics of that prompt and put it back into the comment and see if it generates the code we want? I
believe we can. Yeah, I think that was a really well structured prompt here, giving it the actual package name. So great job, Mark. I'm glad that we're. That's why we're collaborating.
Yeah. Maybe rather than how do, should we just say generate an image?
Yeah, I do think that I've had better results when I go more imperative in the comments and then inquisitive in the chats.
No, doesn't like it.
No. Generate an image with Google AI platform with Java. Interesting.
Maybe get rid of the with Java, considering its context.
We're in a Java class file.
Yeah. No, doesn't like it. Fascinating. Okay.
But yeah, there is a difference in the way that these different modalities respond. But I really like this result. So generate image sample. Let me actually drop this in and then examine it a little bit more closely.
Chuck it in a Scratch or something.
Yeah, or like this file's mostly empty. I think I can.
I
can kind of work it in, but let me grab.
Oh yeah, because I remember this. Java will let you define multiple classes in the same file. It doesn't actually complain, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and that's a choice. You can absolutely do that.
Not saying it's a good thing to do, but I do remember this is a thing. Probably possible. from whatchamacallit, from generated code.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the imports are helpful. We will be, later on, turning these into values and getting them from one central place rather than putting them in each service. But for now, while we're exploring, that's fine. We don't need to pass in all these parameters. We do need the prompt.
Yep.
The output image URI is interesting, but okay. Prediction service settings, new builder, set endpoint, yes. We may be missing a couple slashes on that endpoint because, I'm a little bit suspicious of that endpoint.
Yeah, I'm a little suspicious of that too.
It's a little bit bare.
I'd be surprised you actually need to set the endpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Or maybe the endpoint might be all right, but the port is new to me.
I would have thought there'd be a default endpoint, but I also don't know how Vertex works. So, but we can ask that question.
Absolutely. And things change very quickly on Vertex, but I'd be surprised if that was the way it goes. So we're saying initialize a client that will be used to send the requests. This only needs to be created once. Can be used for multiple requests. That's informative. And after completing all your requests, call the close method to safely clean up any background resources. Cool. Okay, so we're using the endpoint. And we're having it pass the params in. Value converter to value. So it's using the protobuf, or the like value class here. And then,
oh my gosh,
setting the prompt, build, value instance. Yep. This seems like the most important line where we're actually calling the service.
Oh, there's something stored to a bucket. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so the URI is interesting because I'm like, are we putting it in the bucket in one fell swoop? Is it finishing 3 things from our agenda?
Does the library, like, is that how Vertex works? Does it, like, as you return stuff, does it just put it in the bucket?
I don't think that's standard Vertex. I think
here's some bytes.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think that's standard vertex. I think that is Duet inferring that we'd want to put it somewhere and not just get a byte stream back or a base64 array. If so, bravo, but we'll see. First off, I want to see if all of these imports and all of these objects are correct. So let's see. Value is correct. It's the protobuf value. Thought so. And then the predict instance schema, these look very promising. So let's see if any of them are not quite what we're after. We'll add a catch to this try. Oh, it generated a try block with no catch, which that may be
You might
that
want one of
may
those.
yeah, I might need one of those. And it might honestly be when you're generating results that are this big, when you want it to generate like most of a function for you, we may need to specify in our settings.json that we want to have larger text responses. Because it seems like it was on the right track and it got cut off in this case.
I didn't
So
know that
might
was something
be,
you could do. So that's kind of neat.
I believe it is. So that might be me having Duet misconfigured for this use case, but we will explore that later. Because I'm very curious about if this will work. So IO exception, we can have it throw an IO exception. Not that one. And yeah, ideally that's image generation params. So do we have the import for this? We do have the import for this. Is this in the dependency that we downloaded though? Let's see. Let me go to not target, but my external libraries and just search for this. Now, that may not be what we're after, actually. Let me just look this up real quick. Generation prediction programs. Interesting.
Interesting. So I was just playing in the background and having a look. So in IntelliJ, there should be settings in the cloud code settings field for Duet that you can specify the size of the responses you want to get.
Okay. So, and I bet we could ask Duet how to, like, what are the valid values for that?
I might have been doing that on the side in my own little window. Apparently, the available sizes are small, medium, and large.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Because I was wondering what the, like, reasonable increment would be to go up on that. Like, you don't want to say, oh, I need 50 more characters. So t-shirt sizes make sense.
That's interesting. Again, assuming that Duet is giving us the right information too.
Now, okay, use image models, image on vertex overview. So I'm not seeing a lot of, let me see if this is.
So what were you looking up? I was reading other things.
I am trying to see if this is a valid object in the package.
It seems to be complaining.
And it may not be.
It made some stuff up.
It may have made that class up. So let's see. I want to know if it was like close to the right objects, or if it was just like maybe copying Python class names.
Schema predict instance image generation. Yeah, right.
They seem very reasonable, which is why I'm thinking. So let me go AI. Let me just go to this package. And
that's the V1 beta 1 version. I think you've got the wrong one.
I think you're right.
You want the V1.
Do I have V1?
There I do. All right, so we need a schema package. There we go. You want this? You want the schema one, right? Which is the top one.
Yeah, predict.
There we go.
Instance. Oh, wait, hold on. Prediction might have been the one I'm after. And I'm looking for a class that's something like image generation prediction.
Image. I don't see that unless it's just in
segmentation prediction result image.
That would be in params though. If you're looking under prediction, there should be image generation prediction results, which does not exist.
It does not exist. Okay, so interesting.
So it did make something up, or yeah,
yep. Um, yeah. Interesting. But what is it trying to do here? It seems like each step is reasonable. Pass it the params in some object, and then generate the prediction instance and give me the result. Totally reasonable. Let's see. Let me just see if I can get Duet to correct these blocks where I don't recognize this object. Don't recognize the image generation prediction params class. Are you sure that's the right one?
I love how you write that. That's fantastic.
User specify parameters from image generation request. But it specifies the image size. Can you link me to the docs page for this? Nope, it brought me back to the same sample. Interesting, but that may just be too big of a chunk to bite off at once. Let me see, considering they gave me like this whole function that is close-ish, let me see if I can just find the okay, so I'm seeing, all right, well, why don't we see, now, okay, as somebody who's like, are you sure that this class exists in Java? Wondering if it can give me information about like which,
or like which package is, can we ask it like which package is, where can we, or which package is this class in?
yeah, sure. Which package is this class in? It should tell me, yeah.
Which package is
Let
image
me be
generation?
specific
Pick
about
one.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And this may legitimately be something that is just implemented in Python but not in Java yet. In which case, let's see if we can figure that out and fall back to
Or could also just be old code.
It
Maybe
could be.
the classes have changed, or it could be hallucinating. We don't know. All
Yeah.
right. Image generation class is not part of the official
Aha.
documentation that you have created. Oh,
It is not a custom class that I have created.
correct version. They're like, this is the right way to do it. But does it have the same imports? Now I'm curious. It's like, no. Params image generation.
Predict instance image generation prediction instance.
That's the same code.
It is.
Huh. It's a liar.
Let me see. Let me. Are you sure? Okay, so it's saying this.
I love the way you're talking to it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Are you sure, sir?
I've had pretty good results having it, like when it gives me something and I'm like, are you sure about that? Give me documentation. It seems to be pretty good at responding to those kind of questions.
For specifying image generation prediction result. Okay.
I didn't. I do want to see where this conversation goes.
Oh, I'm fascinated.
No dice. So it says it's not part of the class, but does not appear in the class.
Image generation prediction result. Yeah, I don't even find this on Google, like at all.
No. So I think that this is just a case of, okay, let me take a look at this. On this docs page here. I want to see how close the Python package names are. Image generation model, not that close.
Not that close.
Not that close.
And it's interesting too because if it was an old sample, you'd think we'd find it on GitHub somewhere,
You would.
or at least it would show up in Google. Unless my admittedly, I'm typing this from scratch and not copy pasting like you can.
Right.
So I could be typing this wrong, but you'd think it would show up somewhere because you figure it's trained on something somewhere.
Yes, yes. And it really does feel like we're very close to this. So that's okay. You know, we have the time and space to figure this out. I'm wondering what will give Duet the hint that it needs to get us here. So we have.
I mean, I think in real world usage, you'd probably be like, okay, at this point, I'm going to fall back on regular tools to work out the rest of it.
You might be right.
As a springboard, but not to say we shouldn't go down this path, but I'm just.
It has already been a pretty good springboard here where it's given me like a service with the parameters and like, you know, most of what I'll need for it is just like a couple package names that are different. And
because it's a nice enough springboard that you could be like, okay, I know what my first class is, right? Like I know that I use this builder and I get going. So then I could search from that builder and sort of probably find some more information from that point forward. And I know where I'm beginning at the very least.
Yeah. What if I say, what is the class within this package that helps me generate image generation predictions? No, that's the same one that we got earlier.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Absolutely. You know what? I'm very curious.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
So okay, you know what? Yeah, I was going to say, take out those and then let's just work out where it fails pretty quickly.
Sorry.
But the good thing is it goes... It goes into value converted to values. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Image generation prediction instance. That doesn't exist? That's not a thing?
No, that does not exist.
Okay, so this is
so what if I label what it was trying to do here and say like build the image generation request and see what it returns.
Okay.
No, it's using the same classes.
Yeah, right.
That it's assuming the classes. And that's not quite what I'm after. Okay.
As an interesting aside, and I don't think it will, but I assume like you've got that like image generation prediction params. If you try and like I assume the IntelliJ tooling will be like, oh, I'll go find that if I know where it is, but I'm guessing it's not going to find it anywhere.
Correct. Yeah. So this is where this is the context menu where it would normally do that. It doesn't seem to be able to resolve it. And that makes sense from what we've seen online. So I think what I'll do at this point, because as you mentioned, like this is kind of even as a dev trying out a new tool, I think at this point I'd be like, okay, let me look at a sample. So let's see what that looks like.
See what it looks like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because then we'll find the sample.
Prediction, batch prediction job sample. I believe that would work, but we don't really need to make a batch of one. Or maybe that's just how it's structured. Yeah, that really might be it. Batch prediction job, BigQuery, nope. Job sample, yep. And so are we able to specify? Okay, wow.
So is this creating the image? Is that what it's doing, or? Oh, there we go. We specified the endpoint. That we can see.
It seems
that
like the endpoint is correct.
I am very curious whether that's required, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Java service client. There we go. This is for GCS. And then batch prediction job. No, that looks right.
Is this doing what we want? Okay.
This is very close to what we want.
Okay. I believe you.
Yes. So, and it seems like this is what informed a lot of our response. batch dedicated resources. This is machine type.
And
This is
also,
quite a
again,
bit.
nobody take what I say about Vertex with any seriousness because I've never touched it in my life. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's valuable for watching us learn about Vertex. I have used it a bit more than never. Enough to know that, defining a specific machine spec for your job, your generation job, is pretty advanced. Like if you're generating hundreds and hundreds of images, that would speed it up. But for us right now, I don't think I need to add that param. Machine spec, machine family is always an optional param. I'm not going to add it. But yes, this is really the majority of what we're after. And I'd prefer to not do it in a batch, but that's fine. So, batch dedicated resources. Yeah, okay. We're going to use essentially the batch, which it kind of explains why it would be hard to pick this up. We'll do it because there's nothing specific about
there
this.
may not be anything
It seems like this
to
is a
train on with this.
heavily reused like vertex object. So yeah, I think that's just like a use case where it's tough to pick that out in a text prompt. Because it's something that you like. It's kind of like, yeah, just like a heavily reused DTO, data transfer object. So I can see how that'd be tough to hit. But let me try essentially copying this logic. So following the guide of what Duet offered, where it says, initialize the client, we do that in almost the same way. And then we want to set the params on the request and send it in. We're going to be doing that in one step here with the batch. So not too particular about the output format. So we're not going to specify that.
I'm gonna believe you.
Yeah. So yes, batch prediction job is what we're after. Let me comment most of this out. Just the middle part there.
I might be looking for external samples, but
yeah, batch.
I'll see how close. I'll see how close you get.
Let's see. Generate a batch prediction job. I think I can have this generated by Duet. Generate a batch prediction job that takes. Well, really, it's a pretty simple builder. I'm just gonna place it in. Yeah, batch prediction job. The builder. And that is the right import. AI platform, yep, v1 batch prediction job. And then we want to set the input config. And we'll define that above. So essentially the only field that we're really stuck on is getting the prompt in there. And then we will play with the defaults as they come out. We actually will only need one image prediction. I know that.
Okay. Yeah, because that's all we want for now.
Yeah, it's like image.
I assume it returns back several.
I think the default is 4.
Okay.
But that's from like a code lab that I did a while ago. Yeah, what is the? Let's ask Duet. How many? Actually, yeah. What is the structure of an input of a batch prediction job input? Because that's something I'm about to look up anyways.
So yeah, also the thing that maybe we get some response on is I'm trying to understand what this batch thing is and what that relates to. Like I'm in my head, I was like, oh, I just send a request to Vertex and it gives me a response, but there seems to be this batch thing in between, and I don't know what that is. So
yes, I think like if you do a REST use case of Vertex, then it is just get your endpoint, send in the config, you get your response. But I think the niche that these client libraries fill is more getting like large jobs with high like machine requirements and high like reliability requirements done. And so it would make sense you want to generate 30 images with a Java service or hundreds of images, and you want to get it done in one batch and be able to track that it started and finished at a certain time. And so this batch prediction job is an AI platform. It's a Vertex object. And Yeah, so that makes some sense, but I'm not familiar with like what the exact config would be.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm almost curious to ask it actually if you have to use a batch.
I don't.
Um,
Yeah, I don't believe you would have to. I mean, you would always have the option to um, just fire off a REST request from Java, which of course you can do with a lot of different backing services.
yeah,
But I'm curious to
depends
see
whether
how.
the library supports it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But actually, also another hurdle when you're doing kind of like hand rolled REST calling, you'll have to bundle in your authorization yourself. You'll have to supply like a bearer token with.
yeah, it seems like, but it seems, excuse me, it seems like if we have a REST API, we usually have a language SDK. Usually, not always, but usually.
Correct. Yeah. And that may have been the case here, but I was hoping that the client library could do all the authentication for me in exchange
Yeah,
for a little bit
it
of
should.
pain learning what the objects exactly expect.
Hmm.
So interesting. It seems like this, I guess, because it's a more heavy duty use case, it defaults to having a GCS bucket as your source or as your destination rather than giving you back a list of. Well, I guess if you're generating a batch of images, having a response that's you know hundreds of megabytes all at once. You'd have to stream
You
it.
probably don't want it as a binary.
Yeah,
Also, it's probably going to take like oh, that's actually a really good point. So
it
having
would
played
take
with some
time. It would
image,
be
yeah,
fragile. So this actually is
we're not talking about like a 200 millisecond thing. It could
yeah.
be 30 seconds
Hey,
until you get a response. So actually having a batch
it makes sense.
does make sense.
The Google engineers that designed this might have had a good head on their shoulders. They
It's
might have had a
possible.
point.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
So yes, GCS source. I mean, yeah, I guess that's what we'll need. I want to ask a little bit more about each of these fields to see how much it can tell me, and then we'll confirm it.
Okay.
But I'm assuming from these fields that JSON schema URI is where I'll say things like I want one image, I want it to match this prompt.
Yeah.
Yeah, any kind of like filtering like that. Let's see. Um, what's the purpose of GCS storage in this config?
Let's see what we get.
So it says it's where you specify, yeah, the storage location where the input data is stored. It can be JSON or Avro format. All right. Cool. Cool. That tracks now. And what's the purpose of the what was it JSON schema URL? No, that's definitely just on second thought. That's definitely just defining, allowing you to provide a JSON or Avro schema spec.
Okay.
That's not helpful. Instances format is likely the one that I'm after. Instance format field is used to specify the format of the input data. Yeah, okay. It's a little bit broad, that response, but let me just look that up here. Let me see if that. Well, actually, can you link me to a docs page?
That would be nice.
I don't actually know if there is a docs page for this field because it is a fairly new client library. It would be reasonable if every field and every object wasn't documented.
But at least it should give you the reference, I would hope.
I would hope so.
I would hope.
Input config. No, that's the original response I was referring to.
Yeah.
It does link me to this documentation here. Let's see. Oh,
Ba-boom.
not quite. Well, can I search instances format here? Get batch code predictions. Yep. Create a batch prediction job. Let's go with this one.
This is all JSON.
Yeah, let me actually, one sec. Let me There's one thing I want to change here.
Interesting.
There we go. Code Bison. So, oh, that's interesting. Code models that this is for not what we're
Well,
after.
we're in the language models for code, whereas what we want.
Yeah, but models that support batch predictions, I hope.
Don't we want to be in use image models rather than?
Yes, we want to be in ImageN here. Use image models.
There we go.
Well, it probably was on the search page that I found earlier. So let me just go to
good point.
Image format, input format.
Interesting.
Let me just grab it from the IDE again. Instances format. Is that in here? No. Let me search here. And let me zoom in again.
May want to be specific about.
Yeah. Image.
Or
get batch predictions from a custom trained model. Yes. Code predictions, no. Image classification,
text.
no.
Maybe just image rather than ImageN.
Not quite. Instances format, JSON lines. No, this is still more general than we're hoping for.
This is where I'd probably duck into a reference at this point.
Yes, let's do that. So there was a reference for generating images with generative AI here. So use not code predictions. Use image models. Generate images, quick start.
That's its console.
This is not quite where we're after.
Yeah. If you click into a reference, which is where I would probably on the top.
Okay.
This is where I would be like, okay, let's step away from Duet for a minute. There is a client libraries over on the left.
Yes.
And I'm willing to bet there's
Built
a Java one inside there. I would go left hand nav. And then you can go into the Java reference. So then we actually have access to all the stuff.
We have instance.
I actually wonder if you could type it into the filter and it would probably show up.
Not the field likely, but yes, the class. Let me grab the
cool.
Input config class. Yeah, the builder, well, the builder would be enough. It'll get us in the right package.
There we go.
And this will, offer some color here and how it should be expressed.
Really?
Descriptor, get descriptor. That may be the field we were looking for. No, we're off topic here. Now,
is this the right object to?
The builder is
production. Okay, improve. Yeah, this looks right.
It's the right object, but we may be one layer too deep with the builder. Set field, that may be right. Now,
and this is where I think it's quite possible we may have hit, I guess, one of the interesting limitations of Duet, which is like if there's no samples or the documentation is limited, there's only so much Duet can actually do.
Yeah, and it got us.
It got us started.
Yeah, to the point it got us to like the edge of where samples and guides would usually take you, and
Yeah.
then you would be looking into the reference docs. But I think we're just one class a little bit, like one class too deep here. So let me, rather than going for the builder, let me go for
One.
the interface itself. Config or builder. Okay, BigQuery source.
At this point, I've actually forgotten what we were doing in the code.
Oh yeah, we're trying to. So we have the image generation package pulled in. We
Yep.
have the service to build the image. We're just trying to figure out how we should structure putting the prompt in, and then what config options are available, and then we'll test the actual response.
Okay.
So, I'd say roughly 60% of the battle is done, but this next part is the interesting part.
Got it. Got it.
Has BigQuery source, has source case. Instance format. Yes. Let me go ahead and I did have a sample here that I had as a bit of a fallback here. Create net images from text. Yeah. Nope.
Think.
Not that.
Yep. That's a video. Well done.
Thank you.
Where are we?
I may have to open up my other window here because I believe I had the page open.
Interesting.
Here we are. It's a little bit backed up, but yeah, we have the client library here.
I think
And
we'll
refer back to the sample where we originally
this is where we started
from. Yeah,
this is where we just were actually.
It is GitHub. So AI platform. So this page leads us to the AI platforms samples. And let's just go back to the sample that got us on the track of the batch here and go off of the input config that we pass in here. So we use a builder and then we set the instances format. We're passing that in.
Yeah, but this is does Vertex needs like a machine type or?
I believe that, the machine type I believe is optional.
Okay.
Yeah, worst case, we could do the REST API, but I do want to give this a little bit. Maybe we'll say how we're doing for time. We're getting there. I'm going to say 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then I'll switch to REST and take it from there, which should be quicker. So
there's got to be a way to do it.
There is a way to do it, and I feel like we're very close to figuring out this instance format here. But for setting up the instance, we pass it in here. Here we go. Get batch predictions from Vertex. Could do it from a CSV file. No, I'd like to do it in a string. It may be that this batch use case is just larger than we're after in this demo, and it might be smarter to go with REST for this first attempt, and then step up to the batch implementation.
Totally trying this on my own over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
so this is interesting. I got a much simpler example.
You did?
Yeah, like a lot simpler with the prompt that I use.
Okay.
Let's see if you get the same. I'll just be curious here. Where do I want to put it? I'll throw it to you on private chat.
Sure. Another thing we could do is step into the model garden.
So I used a prompt called using Java AI platform package generated an image with Vertex AI. Actually, if you don't mind me sharing a screen.
Yeah, no, totally.
Let's see if I got the tab here. Oh, you're in a different tab. Okay, that's fine. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do that. Hold on, give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
That
If you'd like, you can share, or I can.
just give me
I have
1
something to show you
sec.
too.
Yeah, show yours. I have.
Sure. So one other way that we can get started here with image prediction is by going to the Vertex. Vertex is kind of like a cloud-based IDE specifically for AI development. And so it enables you to try out different things, different models, and see how they work in a test bench format before putting it into your code. And so one thing that we can do is have it generate images using ImageGen in the console for us. So let me go ImageGen Vertex model garden.
So I got something for you when you're ready.
Yeah.
That
So
looks
search models. I'm going to go ImageGen.
simpler. I
ImageGen
think.
for image generation and editing. Yeah. Open Vision Studio.
Oh, is this because you need like I'm just looking at the code I have in front of me, which is the model version or something? Do you need to
I do need to specify the model version,
Okay.
but I don't think that was the sticking point for us. Let me go specifically with ImageGen. No. Well, we can go with Gemini Pro. But yes.
Mind if I show you what I've got code wise?
Sure. Yeah. Let me just. So this is essentially
Finish reading.
the same structure we'll be doing, but oh no, hold on. No. Yeah, no. Maybe we can go with yours first, and then I can locate exactly what I'm trying to show off here. Then we can
All
switch
right,
back.
so let me show you what I got. So let me add to stage. So this is what using the Java AI platform package, and this is just using console Duet, generate an image with Vertex AI, and it looks simpler. So we still have the project and the endpoint model ID, content. I guess that's the prompt, but it doesn't have a lot of those imports that you had here.
Interesting.
So there's the endpoint. Interesting. It does skip the endpoint. Oh no, it still has this endpoint. I think that's actually. I had to look. I think that's
Yes, that endpoint is valid. It's the
optional.
same as what we've seen in other.
Yeah, pretty sure that's optional anyway. But then it's just a generate image request. Blah blah blah. What does instance mean? Okay.
I think that is still the instance format object that we're looking at.
Instance comes from somewhere. Instance image builder set content. Instance value. Instance value comes from something. Oh, value.new builder. Okay, fine. And then it's just client generate image. Gives back and then it gives back a URI,
And that
which
seems
looks much simpler, right?
It does look simpler. It is still passing in. Can you go down to the fields?
Absolutely. You want these fields, or you want further down?
No, those are the fields. If you go up a little bit, so parent set model. Yes. Okay.
That seems better, right?
That
Now, the
does
interesting
seem
question is, if you use the same prompt, will you get the same thing?
interesting. Yeah, let's try that.
All right. I will.
So what was the prompt you used?
I put it in our private chat between the two of us.
Okay,
So,
excellent.
so I can throw it up on here. Using Java AI platform package, because we knew what the package was.
Yeah. We have the package, we have the builder, and we have the request object.
Yep.
We're simply looking for the format of the...
All right, let's chuck you back on stage.
Yeah.
Give that a shot.
Where was the message in chat?
We have a private chat between us on our streaming platform. I dropped it in there.
Yes. That part of my window is not revealed. Okay, there we go. Let's see how this looks.
Let's see how this looks.
Similar. Oh, and instance data. Interesting. Feature column A. That's different from yours.
So you're getting. It's interesting also because you're getting a ton of other stuff that I'm not getting, and I wonder if that's because you have like, some kind of. Oh no, that looks close-ish.
It does.
Yeah, this looks the same. I think this looks the same. The
and this looks like
you have is
those fields. I think they're probably placeholder. It is likely you're supposed to go like prompt and then value. But this looks close.
Yeah, you
I do want to try this.
Interesting. You are getting some different stuff to what I'm getting, but okay, there's a bit more context in there.
Prediction service client. See, that is an assumed middle, some assumed middleware. Prediction service client. That's not in. It is in here. Never mind.
Yeah, that looks legit.
Okay. Let me try that.
I love how it says to do developer replace these settings before.
That is actually from the docs.
Oh, fascinating. Okay.
The generated samples do say that, so that is legit. Let me grab this try block.
Clearly, we have to get some sort of model ID from something, but we can work that out.
And we do have from Vertex. Actually, we have a model ID.
Oh, we have a model ID. You know what that is? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time?
Doing okay. Parameters. Let's see what parameters is looking for. String parameters.
Beautiful.
Okay. We're going to. Well, parameters is empty in this case.
We got 20 minutes. We can do this.
Yeah.
This is like last time where we're like, all right, we have these 4 things in our pipeline, and then we get through the first one.
I think, yeah.
Which is fine. Just means there's more stuff to do.
Yeah, more things to do for the next stream.
Yep.
And I think that's interesting. If everything we were doing was so cut and dry, then
that would be the point. Well, I mean, ideally, Magic Wands like Duet does everything for us and gives us a cup of tea at the end of it. But can't have everything.
Yeah, endpoint ID. So let me start with that because I do know that. Or endpoint. I know the endpoint name. Will Vertex give me the endpoint ID?
I assume that's something you would have to look up. Inside your project.
Yeah, you know what? I do have that. Or I have.
Or we could ask Duet. Where does the endpoint ID on Vertex come from?
Sure. Oh yes.
Oh, there you go.
So we've done that. You can do that in there's G-Cloud console option as well. Yeah, Vertex AI API. Let's try that. Let's go to
console.
And go to endpoints.
I love it.
I don't think so.
Maybe maybe we just have to
vertex. I think within vertex there's an endpoints
Vertex AI.
tab, and then there's batch predictions, but no.
To find it, okay, go to the Vertex AI page in Google Cloud Console. Click the Endpoints tab.
What if we go to model garden? What if I pick the model that I'm interested in, which is ImageN, and then have it supply more row content for me?
Resource ID, interesting.
There's the endpoint. Image generation : predict. And this is essentially the REST fallback
Fascinating.
path, which we could implement.
Nah.
But I'm more interested in
Boring.
getting the Java version done.
Yeah, no, I agree.
because
I agree.
This
I
is
agree.
already
We're on the same
documented.
page.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's
I
see.
agree.
We have a reasonable structure of what a JSON request body looks like, which should be similar. So the endpoint, we have that here. Endpoint ID. Yeah, I'm going to assume it wants the actual endpoint. Endpoint name, project, location, or no, I'm going to make an informed guess that what it's actually after is image generation : predict. And
That's
if it
the
doesn't
model.
like,
That would make sense.
and if it doesn't like that endpoint, it'll tell us.
Well, I feel like that would be the model, though, wouldn't it? Because I saw that in mine where it was like, this is the.
Is it? I don't think so, but.
Oh, interesting. I have model name in my sample. You do not, which is kind of fascinating. I've got a model ID or something.
In this same sample here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, not on this particular sample. No, in the code sample, I have a model rather than an endpoint. But okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that is I believe that's what we're after, and so we can take that out to.
It's weird how we get slightly different things, but okay.
I believe that's what exactly we're there.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so in the code that I generated, endpoint ID is model ID.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. See, this is fascinating. Okay, mine's slightly different to yours. Very fascinating. Okay.
So we've made a quarter turn here from batch prediction to dish prediction. I believe this is the right endpoint. If not, we'll try the full HTTP, the full URL.
Yeah.
Do we need?
Builder,
but it seems like instance is a batch concept. No, it isn't. Parameters, no. So my sample didn't have parameters in there. It just had parameters. So I'm going to use the parameters from the docs here. So the sample image count. Yeah, that looks familiar.
Yeah, my code's different to yours. It's so weird. Okay.
That is interesting.
Let me know if you want to see mine again.
Yeah, I will. Interesting. It's supplying.
Okay. Oh, so the code that I have has like this value builder thing with the it looks like it's building JSON behind the scenes, so you don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah. Which would probably be more maintainable. But we do want to escape those quotes. And
here, I'll show you what I got.
Yeah.
It's weird that oh, bounced up. So here's content, which I actually assuming is prompt. But down here, interestingly, we specify the model. I don't know, that's not required. But this section here is very interesting.
Interesting.
So we create this instance value, like we passing values, and then it merges the two together, and yeah, so it's the
JSON
content.
format. I don't know about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird. I don't know
Yeah,
what this does, but
that's a little outlandish for my taste. And I think we're very close here. We're very close here to
Alright.
the passing of the parameters properly. So we
All
just
right.
need to nail down the list values, and then we'll be able to get a response or not. Cannot resolve method. Is that correct? Endpoint name list value. List of values value. We can make that a list. It's just a single value. Yeah.
I trust you.
Yeah. It's just a slight
This is
difference in the
fascinating.
parameters.
If this actually works, I'm going to be very impressed.
Yeah, and so the instances, it's just a little bit of obtuse formatting for the
There's
objects.
got to be a way to generate that Java rather than writing like.
Oh, definitely. Or there's also in Java great JSON libraries.
Yeah, I would have thought that Java library would have taken some sort of like value object or like a map or something, right? Like
we are. I think it
like that's probably part of the builder.
The predict endpoint is expecting protobuf lists of values, so that is kind of the response to having to write this yourself. It is a little weird that I'm putting in JSON.
So actually, my code doesn't seem too strange.
Maybe it doesn't. Protobuf string
this
value.
is Google protobuf value. Yeah.
Set value parameters build.
Well, here's an interesting question. Yeah. Just because I'm looking at the code, scrolling down. Okay, so we've got predict response, predict service, endpoint instance parameter. What does predict? Oh, that's also interesting because in mine, I've got prediction service client.generate image, not predict.
And predict is a valid endpoint here. So
is generate image
method, at least. Is generate image? Let's see.
Is mine?
Let me go to that. Let me go to this client and see. I don't see generate image here.
Okay, so mine's wrong.
Let me specifically say in the directory that I'm standing in. No, I don't see it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So wrong on mine.
Interesting, though. Okay, so then I just need to add in so we have the parameters specified. The format may be wrong, but we'll find that out. And I have the instance this is where we actually specify the prompt. And yeah, it is likely that the formatting is wrong here, but we'll clean all that up.
Work it out.
Nope. It's got to be like I would expect like a key value pair. You pass in a map.
Yeah, right.
As a JSON string, but that doesn't seem to be what it's after here. So I'm going to try hemming close to because it's supposed to be a list. That'll be captured as the
list of values. Unless does a value take a key and a value, like a key and a like two strings or something?
No. So
what protobuf
value?
What's on value?
It's like an enum and a value. Here, let me see if I can find a sample that is not AI, not Vertex related, but makes this a little clearer. Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. I think it'll give me a response and it'll say this is not even close and show me a log, and that'll be helpful. New builder add list value, add list, get list value, set list value. There's no add list value, so it's set list value instead. String. Yes, what are you expecting? Expecting a value? Yeah, I don't typically work with protobufs. List value. And a list value expects
There's a builder pattern here that's interesting.
list value, new
Let's
builder.
ask Duet. How do I build? Yeah, let's ask Duet.
That's a good idea. How do I supply a list, a protobuf list value? Or instantiate, I guess, would be the term. Value.newBuilder.add list values .value.newBuilder.set values set string value add list values.
That sounds about right.
I don't think that's right.
That looks like Java to me. I don't know.
This looks like Java slander to me. I don't think that's right. New builder, set builder, list value. No. Add list values. I mean, possibly. Let's see. No, add list values is the function that we did not find earlier that we tried to use. This one seems closer. Let's see how far off it is. Set list value, maybe. And so it's looking for a list value or a builder. No, it really does seem like that is because that's the same point we were at. So list value builder dot new builder dot add value, and then it's value dot new builder dot set value, set string value. Yes, this does make sense.
Okay.
So string value, and then we want prompt and the actual passed in prompt.
At least Duet showed you a little.
It offered a good sanity check there.
Yeah, it's a good. Here we
go. Yeah. Set string value, and we're going to set it to the prompt we're passing in. Actually.
Okay, so if I understanding this prediction service client, it's almost like a generic thing, if I understand it correctly. In fact,
yes, it seems like it calls any one of the vertex prediction endpoints.
Yeah. Okay.
I had one too many parentheses. Yeah.
That does not exist.
Okay, so I have set list value. Correct. List value, new builder. Adding the new value to the builder, which is the value of the prompt. Yep.
Okay.
Dot build. That looks right.
It hates you.
It does hate you.
Oh, there we go. No.
No. Can I define? Can't find set list value. I disagree.
But maybe not for that type. What's that type for? That's a lot of value.newBuilder nesting. It seems a bit weird.
It is. I may be one layer too deep here. So what I'm going to do instead of taking the Duet generated sample fully is just plop the part that it helped me find into this. So we're setting a list value to this list value. That's what we wanted.
That looks like it's compiling.
Yep.
I'm definitely a step in the direction.
Yeah, I'm still feeling like the response is going to be. It's gonna have a problem with the formatting here, especially for the parameter. But honestly, no, that is what we wanted. We wanted this list value. We may be missing a level of encapsulation because we want a list value. There's the array that contains a single value that contains a text like this prompt as the prompt. And we're either right there or we're one layer off. So we'll see. It should give me like a 405 or a 403 if it doesn't like the response. And I've lost my stream window. That's okay though.
I see you. You're good.
You see me? Okay. I'll trust you on that.
You exist. Huh.
Good.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the code that mine generated too, and it's making up stuff too.
Yeah.
This generate image request does not exist.
Dot build. That's what I wanted. No. It is the. So we're expecting a. We can do a collection singleton list. Of the instance, yeah. So it was expecting the remaining problem was that it was not expecting a single protobuf list value. It was expecting a list of protobuf list values.
Right. Okay.
Again, it's totally possible that I am misunderstanding the protobuf implementation here.
But who knows?
But who knows? Let's see.
But who knows?
I'd
Okay,
like
so
to find
the theory, if I've got this right in my head, is because we've pointed it at like an endpoint and a specific model, it knows like that model is like, okay, I need this prompt, and therefore, if we pass it the right information in theory, it should give us something back, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm understanding how Vertex is meant to work. Crossing fingers.
Yeah, and we'll see how this goes. So some issues that we may run into here, we may need this full URL, but it may be supplied by the client library. We'll find out.
Yeah, I would have thought the endpoint would do that work.
I think this is doing the like first 90% of the endpoint resolution for us.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking that said endpoint is not actually required, but let's run with it for now.
Yeah, it's enough samples for me to trust it. And then we may need the parameters to be formatted differently. It's entirely possible. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we're going to assume that this works, and if it doesn't, it'll tell us how it's not working, and that's great. Now we're going to take a step back from the service.
There is some error still, though.
Yeah, where is the error? Oh, it's not returning what we're expecting.
Oh, I see.
Or no, we have one too many brackets. Yeah. But it's also not returning what we're expecting. So avoid isn't helpful. What I'd like, at
the URL.
Least, yeah. It seems like the predict response is actually going to be the individual response, which is going to be like a response body with like predictions as a list value. So it'll be like a big JSON blob that has, among other things, the base 64 or byte array of the image that we're looking for. So, I mean, for now, I'll just say return the whole predictions field. Or we'll return the whole prediction response.
That seems fair. At the very least, we can also just like
and we'll
print it out, and then we can work out what it does.
Yeah.
But we have that there, so that works in theory.
We do.
Yeah.
So then backing up to the controller, now that we've done all the complexity in the actual service, we can just call the endpoint. So let's have Duet generate this endpoint for us, see how reasonable it is.
Okay, I'm digging into value and looking at the API service. So basically value is just literally any value. So Boolean, null, string. So it's just literally any kind of value you could think of that we can just stick inside of an object type, because Java doesn't have enums, I guess, enum types.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is supposed to be like a very like free-form type.
It's like an any. It'll be like an any or something like that inside Proto.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you still have one too many.
I think you're right. It gave me one too many brackets. But I'm trying to just evaluate. So this is a reasonable endpoint. I probably honestly don't want I don't want it in the same controller. I'd rather have it in a different controller. Because it's kind of a different function. Unless I rename this to the image service or image controller, which, yeah, let's do that rather than making another file.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so values themselves can be repeated values. Oh, fun. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of a verbose format.
Thank you, docs. Proto fun.
It's verbose but precise, like the rest of Java. Anyways, that confusion aside, we're going to go in the image controller here. We're going to have it call the generate image endpoint. Yep. And then we don't want to call the image upload service. We want to call the image generation service, which we'll have to auto wire here.
Can Duet do that for us?
Yeah, let's try that. Auto wire the image generation service. Nope, that is right. It generated the auto-wired tag on the same line, though. Interesting.
Yeah, close though.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of getting used to with like the self-documenting generated snippets, and how you have to deal with comments a little bit differently. But yeah, once you get that muscle memory in. Okay, so we're taking in the prompt as expected. We're passing it to generate image. Yep.
Yep.
Now comes the fun part. We get to test this and see how many errors we get. US Central 1, I'm going to fill in the rest of these parameters from our other service.
Just cheat a little.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Let me just open these side by side. Shouldn't Control W and expand my selection? What's going on here?
I don't know.
Hotkeys. But project ID.
I don't think model ID actually gets used in your code.
No, I don't think it does. That was from the earlier.
Yeah, I still think the endpoint ID is actually your model ID, but that's fine.
Could be. And we don't need the output image because we're not doing the batch. Features. And yeah, that's all we need. So let's give it a run and
let's see if it fails.
Yeah.
We are technically at time, but we can run a little bit over. I think we're gonna be okay.
There we go. We're starting.
Cool. Java setup time.
Started as expected. And so now we're going to go to /upload/generate. All right.
Yep, Postman or whatever it is you like to use.
I do. And actually, this is going to be, yeah, I guess it's a post. And I'll need the request param to be, so it'd be rather than me curling it, let me open up Postman here.
I know you like that tool.
Yeah. There's the agent. It should have our collection from the last time. So we're going to go /generate. Let me add a new tab for this. Clone this tab. And add the body. So we're not uploading an image this time. We are instead sending a prompt, named prompt, in the request body, application JSON rather than form data. So no, raw JSON. No. Yeah, raw JSON. And we're going to say prompt.
Oh, you do that way. Okay.
And say count on swing.
Okay.
And send it in.
Let's see what happens.
Bad request. So, missing required parameter prompt. Oh, I didn't like that formatting. Okay. Hold on. Params. Oh, yeah, no. Rather than the body, we want no body, no request body, but we are doing request param here. So we want prompt.
Okay.
We want the value to be count on swing. 500. Much better.
Okay. Much better.
So prediction service stub settings overrides final method.
Oh my gosh.
gRPC endpoint. So it looks like an encoding issue. Yes. So that's leading to it being improperly formatted here. Let me simplify in the generation service the sample count. So let me follow the same.
Does it need to be an actual number for the image count? Like, is that?
Yeah, I'm thinking it. Yeah, probably. That might be it. I thought I might have undone that in one of my undo spells. If it doesn't like that, I may just try supplying the number value, like saying sample count
Oh, I see.
and then saying
Yep.
number value rather, because it might be trying to cast that. It may not like that.
All right. All right.
Yeah, but the error did seem to suggest that it was an encoding issue, encoding or
Yeah.
decoding.
Different. Okay.
Endpoint string. Okay, so it still seems like, and we may have more
What is
debugging
it?
here to do than we have time on the stream, but we will get back to this. Even if we can't finish it today, we will get a resolution here. Parameters. Let me try passing in, rather than a string value for this, set number value. Has to be a double, so 1.0. But it's not, that seems underdefined. I think, yeah. What we're after here. Yeah, that is like,
You think you have an idea?
I think I do.
Go on. Go on.
I
Try
do
it
want
real
to,
quick.
yeah, I do want to try this. This may be the last one.
Okay.
Set number value. This is a lot of inference on the side of the client library, but we'll see.
Yeah, I have no idea. All right, so we're just not using that. That's fair enough.
And this is a fairly, like, this is the number of images we want back from the client library. So that is a fairly like service level. You'd configure that and not change on every request. 500. Okay.
Yep, still hates you.
Has it changed?
Still hates you.
Yeah. Shucks. We might be out of time there. But yes, we are.
It's image generation Java 26 is where it's
Doesn't
really
like,
unhappy.
well, it's the whole try block. In
And
41, it's when it's returning. Is it? Image controller. No, I mean, we'd need to have a. Yeah, once we're able to get that back and have it returning into the, like, at least we are, with Duet, we were able to get to the point where it is calling Vertex, hitting the prediction service, not quite liking what we're passing in. But then once we get that response coming back, we'd be able to structure this into a response body with the string or the image upload URL that we'd like to have that eventually lead to, and then pass it back to a front end that we could furnish with the rest of the sample here, but didn't quite get there today. And I think that's all the time we have.
that's okay.
Yeah.
We can't always be perfect, but we could always return to it later.
We could.
In a later one, or we can work out what to do from there. Cool. Well, we learned some stuff. I think it was super interesting because it does seem like the Java documentation for this, unfortunately, isn't particularly great.
And that is actually what I was hoping for. I wanted to see in more of a a bit of a jungle scenario, like where it has to cut through more ambiguity, how it would do.
Yeah. It does seem like that Duet will, for lack of a better phrase, make some stuff up. We saw that on a few occasions and sort of try its very best to give you something to work from. But yeah, at least it kind of gives you a starting point to work.
It gave us a lot of like very interesting and like very complete, but not quite what we were looking for starting points. Like the batch prediction sample was great that it gave us.
That was interesting. Yeah. I have heard a phrase that people use that's like working with like an AI is kind of like working with a junior developer. Like they're never going to get it 100% right. You're going to have to go in and fix it.
Yeah.
But it gives you like at least something to start from and somewhere other things. So yeah, I heard that and I was like, yeah, sometimes they do just kind of guess stuff and you have to kind of be like, stop guessing.
Yeah. And yeah, I feel like that's a rich full, we did know this was ambitious going in, and we found some limits and kind of tested them here. So yeah, I think this was a good use of time.
Sweet.
And we'll pick it up on the next session, on my next session. So 2 sessions.
There we go. Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, Aaron, thank you very much for joining me this week, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.